going over to the application and taking a look at the Analyze menu, you'll see that I've got a number of choices. The top one is Analyze Batch, which has a hotkey F5 associated with it. So I'll recommend here that you hit this big button, which is actually on the toolbar as Analyze Batch. And I'll explain what this does. What Analyze Batch does is the whole 9 yards. It goes through, extracts the signals, integrates them, builds the calibration curve. If it doesn't exist, even if it does exist, it will replace it using the calibration samples that are in that batch to rebuild that calibration curve, and then uses that calibration curve to quantitate the rest of the samples to create the final concentrations. So that's an explanation of Analyze Batch, the one big button that does it all for you. Next we see on the Analyze menu, Quantitate. So this has been broken down to quantitate the whole batch, just quantitate a sample, or in fact just quantitate a single compound. This granularity could be useful in larger batches. The difference between Quantitate and Analyze is that Quantitate does not rebuild the calibration curve. So it is possible to manage your calibration curve and just use the calibration curve without affecting it by sticking with Quantitate and not hitting the Analyze button. So I'll give you a demo of that, but if I quantitate the batch, you'll see that it does not rebuild the calibration curve, if you could see that go past. It just recalculates the final concentrations using the existing calibration curve. In terms of the difference between Analyze and Quantitate, let me show you the difference using an example. What I'm going to do is only do Quantitate. So let me demonstrate that by picking a calibration sample, level 3, which is right here, level 3, and I'm going to manually integrate it. For the sake of demonstration, the point actually fits very well in the line, but for the sake of demonstration, I will manually integrate this. Now first notice that the accuracy of this line is fine as it is, but after I've manually integrated this line, let's say, you'll notice that the accuracy now is quite bad. It has gone and re-quantitated this compound here. For example, if I do the same thing manually, F8, I could re-quantitate that compound, and it has regenerated the accuracy from the final concentration. But notice that the point on the calibration curve has not changed. The way that I change that point is to reanalyze, which recalculates the calibration curve, rebuilds the calibration curve, and you'll see that that point changes position here now that I've manually integrated it. Of course, when I go back and clear the manual integration and then reanalyze, the point will come back. But I think that demonstrates the difference between Analyze Batch and just Quantitate. Last, let me demonstrate the Analyze menu contains several features here like Clear Results and Integrate, again broken out to the batch, sample, and compound. So if I were to clear results, basically that clears the calibration table as well as clearing any previously calculated results. So I end up at the beginning here. Now, notice I'm on this one sample sitting with cocaine. I could just integrate that particular compound, and you'd see those numbers filled in. Or I could move to the next compound and demonstrate that I could integrate the sample. I only see the responses, obviously, because I haven't used my calibration curve to calculate the final concentrations. As pointed out in the integration section, the ability just to integrate and not use a calibration curve could be handy in a semi-quant-like analysis, looking at the area ratio between the target and using the ISTD as the basis of the relative semi-quantitation. So that gives you a quick demonstration of the Analyze menu. We covered the Analyze Big button, which works in all cases, and that's what I suggest you do. The engine is quite smart about knowing what it has already done, so it does only the minimal calculations. For the power user, we have presented quite a bit of granularity in terms of just quantitating individual batch, sample, or compound granularity, and also doing the same with the integration. I will cover the calibration in a separate section. Thank you for your attention.